Shelby Nelson. I'm Liz Marion, your Launch Lab Online Community Manager, and today we are here for a town hall about going through crisis and thriving as it relates to the fitness industry. I'm really excited to welcome our facilitator today, who is one of our Chicago city leaders, Aida Johnson-Rapp, who has a ton of experience in this industry as well, and also knows our guest very well. So this is going to be an awesome conversation. I just want to let you know a couple housekeeping things. If you want to chat amongst yourselves, please do so as much as you want in the Zoom webinar chat. If you have questions for our guest, Sean or Aida, then please put them in the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you are watching from Facebook, you have the link directly to the Zoom that you can join us live here in the comments, or you can drop a question in the comments on Facebook if you can't get to the Zoom, and we will try to also filter those into our conversation. So without further ado, Aida, I am going to pass it off to you to introduce our guests and lead our conversation. Thank you.
Oh, thanks so much, Liz. Really exciting to be part of Bunker Labs. As an Army veteran, you know, you kind of are out there wandering around, and I was really lucky that a friend of mine introduced me to Bunker Labs. And Sean Armstead, I've known him for years. I've known him to be a veteran from the first time that I ever met him, which was probably like 25 years ago. Yep. And someone said, oh yeah, there's this military vet who's excellent and he's a trainer, and aren't you in fitness? And so and then I was living in a building that was housing this gym that you were a personal trainer in, Brad's gym. Yes. And then we all kind of end up at SRO eating turkey burgers. Yes. So it's really exciting. All these years later, we're still in fitness, still, you know, trying to keep people healthy and yes. happy and make connections. So Sean, tell us a little bit about your upbringing and tell us about your military experience, because, you know, it's a room full of veterans right now. So.
Well, welcome vets, devil dogs, armies, airmen types. You know, for me, the military was super serious and very attractive. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and to be perfectly honest, you had gangbangers and you had street folks that were kind of deep into drugs and kind of out of it. And then you had these group of guys that were weightlifters, and they were real physical. They could play football, softball, basketball, and they lifted weights. That's what we call it, lifting weights. We didn't call it training. You know, it wasn't really bodybuilding, it was lifting weights. And the ones that didn't get messed with the gangbangers and had respect on the street by pretty much everyone, they lifted weights and they had muscles and they were strong. And it was like little street strongman contest type stuff. And I was just very fascinated with strength training and things like that then. And then I wound up going to the military after college. And even then it was still about being tough and strong. But as an officer, you had to be tough and run well and strong and have intellectual, prowess. You had to be able to speak to your troops, command and respect of your troops, and be able to be like a triple threat. Know the way, show the way, go the way. And that's really big in how I try to operate now with my team and my clients, things like that nature.
So clearly then you were, your role models were people who were fit and people who were strong. And so is that really what led you to personal training?
Well, when I was in 1990, when I was thinking about leaving the Corps for good, at that time, I said, if I could go back to the world and teach people how to get in shape, that's what I would do. And I never heard anything of the term personal training. And when I was in college, there was never any mention that I knew of about kinesiology and personal training and fitness, and to be able to study about those topics and concepts and then learn it in such a way that you could earn a living. That never came to mind for me. And it wasn't until I was in the military when I was deciding on a career change, because one of the things for me is I wanted to eventually have a family. And the thing about being in the Marine Corps is like the needs of the Marine Corps come first. And so they would send you all over the place. And I was really connected to my family, my siblings, my parents, mainly, that nucleus of family. And I couldn't imagine being in the world and being away from my people for years and years at a time. I never really connected to that. So I felt like the things that I wanted to get out of the Marine Corps, I received: the leadership experience, the bit of travel, because the only place we ever went to was Jackson and Flint, Michigan, nowhere else. So I came to be a 18-year-old young man and had never been anywhere except Jackson, Michigan, and Flint, Michigan, and that's it. So I was told I had natural leadership capabilities, or I showed natural leadership tendencies or traits, but I had never been anywhere. So the Marine Corps was my choice, because the tough people in my neighborhood they went to the Marine Corps. They didn't go to the Navy, and not that many of them went to the Army. So most of the folks I respected chose the Marine Corps, and one is retired a sergeant major to this day, and like a couple of years ago. So that was my choice.
Great. Well then, so you were a personal trainer for a minute. Tell me a little bit about your first client, because you told me a little bit about that story, and it's really kind of inspirational. Your first client and how the impact that client has continued to have on you.
Oh, so I've been blessed. So I've had clients for over 20 years, 22 years, 15 years, 17 years, 10 years. A lot of powerful. I've had trainers for 15 years, 10 years, 12 years, cleaning person 11 years, another one 9 years. I've been blessed to have long-term relationships on the trainer side and on the client side and the ops side, the operations. Because at the end of the day, I try to treat people like I want to be treated. And I'm big on treating them like family, but it's like my mom would say with a long handled spoon. You can't be all chummy, buddy, but it's about respect and caring about what they care about. So I try to figure out what they care about that is an affiliation with my world too, in terms of their career development with fitness. I want to be concerned about them and their families, because if they're not good, I'm not going to be good. Like if they show up to the floor and they're distracted because of some pain in their life, they can't bring magic to the floor. They can't bring that really good aspects of themselves that's going to help clients have stick and stay. Because you got to be able to engage clients. You got to be able to enhance them. You got to be able to educate them. And when you do that, you can empower them. So it's the 4 E's. But it starts with me.
So your first client was helpful to you in terms of building your business, correct?
Oh yeah. So at different points, I've done deals with the bank. I did a big deal with the bank. We did to purchase real estate, $1.4 million deal. But I've done little deals when it was like, 25 G's, 50 G's, you trying to get. I may not go to the bank for that. I'll just get it. I'll get it among friends, clients or friends, people, mentors. I get 25 here, 25 here, like that. And then you always got to pay it back on the terms that you agreed on. And so as a result, you can get good credit. You have the credit with the banks. You have credit with the streets. If the credit slights with the banks because of whatever, like with the big recession, the other recession in 2008, we had bought the building in 2005. We purchased it, but the mortgage was 15 G's a month. So 15,000 a month is a lot of money. So when it's that, my mind said, okay, let me get to training. But what I should have said is, let me get to leading. Instead of being like the trainer mentality, like my book of business, I should have said, how am I going to lead and teach and inspire my team to be able to fish at a high level and manage that? Instead, I went into a cocoon and went deep into my book of business. So as a result, when things got really tough, their books were slighted. And 1 or 2 of them aren't even trainers to this day. And my book.
Well, let me ask you this then. So you do have a personal trainer mindset for sure.
Oh, unfortunately, yes.
But, however, though, there was a pivotal moment somewhere that said to you, I can go beyond being a personal trainer, which made you decide that you could also be a successful entrepreneur. So what was that pivotal moment?
I had too many clients. So when I worked for Brad, he didn't give me clients. I was bringing them in. And he had never had anybody on his team like that before. So I asked Brad, I said, Brad, after almost 2 years, right at 2 years, I said, Brad, I made $40,000 the year before that. I said, Brad, give me 60 G's and I'll be your guy. He said no. And I was unhappy about that, but I was happy. I said I needed 60 G's because I was bringing all this business up. He's getting a high percentage of business I'm bringing in. And it's like the monies aren't adding up to me. I'm bringing them in. I came in with my own certification, one certification at the time. And I feel like it's skewed. You getting so much money and I'm not, but I'm fishing for the fans. So he said 60 G's was not going to work. And I just said, okay, well, I'm gonna have to move on. And I was blessed that I had a great relationship with so many of my clients, and because I brought them to the gym. Mm-hmm. So at the time, 40 clients left with me, and I started as an independent trainer at Cornell McClellan's place, Naturally Fit.
Yes.
And so that was in '97.
Mm-hmm. So you are the reason why Brad's gym abruptly closed after I had paid for 4 months because you took all your clients.
Well, because the thing is, the way I was, so one of my seemingly strong points was to connect with folks, and that got me in trouble in school when I couldn't stay focused. And there were different reasons. My sister was dying back home, and I didn't go to school to go to school. I was on academic scholarship, but I really went to school at college to ease the pains that I was having from my sister dying. And she wound up dying when I left school and went into officer, like the basic school. Like it's a 6-month course to teach you how to be an officer. Right when I graduated from OCS and became a lieutenant, second lieutenant, a few weeks into that, my sister passed away. And, that was this most tremendous heartache I ever had. It's actually, to this day, besides my dad dying, it's the most heartache I ever had. I had cancer. That was not that bad because that was like, it wasn't devastating for me. It was like, intermediate type of thing. You do your radiation, you keep it moving, you keep your mouth shut, you keep it working. But my sister dying was extremely devastating. And, that kind of changed me and kind of deadened me. But at the end of the day, what was cool about the Marine Corps and being a leader, a small unit leader, is your mission is in front of your face. And but your boss don't care about your sadness and all this other stuff. You handle your business, or you're not gonna get any respect. So I was into wanting to get respect. So I just put my head down, and I just became the best leader I could be. And so I ranked really high among the officers because I was highly competitive.
And that's pretty much what has led to your continued success. I mean, 20 years as an entrepreneur is pretty impressive in this industry. And so that leads me to, we talked about your mission and vision, and I was looking at your website a little bit more, and you have this unique training process called 7 Pillars of Training. Now, how do you get your staff on board with maintaining that continuity in terms of your mission and your vision and your philosophy on how clients should, be treated and how you can meet client expectations in your business?
So the thing it's 2 main ways to build a business, a training business, in my opinion. You got the free agency and you have the farm system. So what I think where businesses, an opportunity for great business to me in training is the farm system. And that's where you have interns that serve at the gym for 12 weeks from college. That's my preferred, because I still have people on staff right now from that. And the people I've had for over a decade on staff, they came from that system. Mm-hmm. Another one that I had on staff for 15 years, he wasn't the formal farm system coming from a 12-week internship from University of Illinois or Northern or Western or U of I, Chicago. He was from the joint, and he came out of prison. He did some boot camp training, and then after a year, one of my best friends on the planet introduced us. And I watched him he was 160 pounds. When he left Phenomenal, he was 240 pounds, power lifter, extraordinaire. And I've been on a serious journey in life and in my business, so it's the church, the trainer, it's the business owner, it's the person. And, it's hard for me to want to stay the same. It's like self-discovery, self-development. You get disenchanted, you get off course, but at the end of the day, when I hit the floor, I'm trying to be down with the people I'm supposed to be down with. And I think that's allowed me some sustained relevancy, some sustainability, and a burning desire to beat the odds. Because a lot of folks fizz out. They get to a certain level and then they get real happy. I feel not that smart and I feel not that accomplished. So I'm always kind of sort of in the now. Like, look at me now. I look in the mirror, like, who are you right now? Who feeling on you? Who feeling you? Who digging you? Who's calling you? Who ain't calling you? And to me, if people ain't calling you and they're not trying to seek you out, you're probably not doing something special. Because when you hype somebody up and you there with them, for them, about them, then they want to talk about you and they want some other people they love and care about to get with you. And that's real serious. And that shouldn't be changing.
Right. So humility sounds like a pillar that you live by, and also continuing education. Because I know that when I look at your bio, you have all types of certifications. You're a master trainer, and also you're a dad and a husband. How do you balance all of this, and how do you get your staff to see how important this is?
Well, for one thing, you have to lead from the front, and it's the leadership traits and principles. Dependability, discipline, integrity, justice, judgment. It's like in the principles: seek first, understand, then be understood, or lead by example. I try the 14 leadership traits, the 11 leadership principles are big for me, and I try to act like it rather than talk about it. So, like I don't talk about my Marine Corps experience with my clients. I don't talk about my Marine Corps experience exactly with my staff. I will give some examples of a military mindset, but I don't go over details of my experience, because like when I write and I type, I use a small letter I to represent me. And the reason I do that, and everybody knows it's hard to do a small I because it always autocorrects for a big I, a capital I. But I like to go through the process of recorrecting my type to the small I, just to remind myself it's super important to be cool and low and humble when you're dealing with folks on a regular basis. Because I had problems with confidence when I was little, because my dumb self did not plan and prepare for the stuff I was into. I was blessed with a slightly above average intellect, and I could get by on a little effort. And then when stuff was hard, I usually just got a B or a C because I really wouldn't try hard. So I remember the mediocrity that path brought me. And I'm not down with that in my chosen passion. I'm just not down with it.
So I have some questions from some of the folks that are looking in. And, you were talking about role modeling and having a certain mindset. And especially one of the things that stood out was you said that when there were some shifts economically and you were worried about your business, that you started training and building your book. Now, how did you shift from that trainer mindset? And then the question is, how do you get your clients to trust the other people, your trainers?
That's a big one. Here's a big thing about it. You have to invest in the person you want them to trust, because the client ain't gonna trust that person if you don't trust that person. So what I've learned is when I have a trainer that sticks and stays and they're there for many, many years, they usually got a lot of love for me. But here's the bigger thing. It ain't the love they got from me. It's the love they have of themselves. And then they come into an environment that speaks to them. So the big thing is when they're an intern, you have to love them up and treat them that they part of a family that's going to be hard on them, but it's going to show them love and respect on a continuous basis. And it's for lack of a better term, it's conditional. because you got to come with your A game. You got to come on time. Like, I don't have rules about tardiness and stuff like that. You don't be late. You don't be late. That's it. That's the rule. Don't be late. Because then you're not going to fit in, because we don't have that. You know, you got to be kind and courteous and considerate to your client, because that's who we are. So instead of talking about a bunch of stuff about what we need to be, yeah, we talk about it. But more than talk about it, you got to be about it. And when you lead like that on a consistent basis, and it ain't no question about those really, really solid bricks of the crib, of the building, you know, people fall in line. And if they don't fall in line, they get squeezed the heck out because they don't feel right.
Right.
So it's about
So you don't
team.
even have to, you don't even really have to create any environment where, you know, well, maybe you do have to talk to somebody and say, okay, this isn't a fit for you. But most of the time, it sounds like what you're saying is people realize if they're fit or not, and they move on or they stay.
Oh, totally.
Yes.
Totally. Because we're trying to be the A team. So it's
All right.
like, you gotta know the way, show the way, go the way. So that means I come to the gym at a minimum of an hour before I see any client. If I see a client at 5, I'm gonna be at the gym at 4. If I gotta see clients at 6, I'm gonna be there no later than 5. I like 90 to 2 hours because I like to take my time to work out, meditate, and get myself together. Then I can see clients. I don't ever do I just show up just to train clients. No.
So let me ask you, so here's another question from the website, and I'm sure most people, in fact, I know this name, Michael Stedman, and he wants to know, as a gym owner, how long did it take you to generate enough income to cover your living expenses?
Oh, I did that when I was a single trainer. See, for me, 6 figures was the thing. So I went from 40 G's or so working for Brad, and I went to 6 figures real quick because I was charging 25 and then 30 and $35 a client, and I was training 4 or 5 clients on an hour. And I was single, and I was just hustling. So my first benchmarks were 6 figures, period. And then once I put the deal together and I started really turning the gym and having trainers, then my thing was $1 million. It's like, you know, for phenomenal to be legit, I gotta do $1 million in revenue. So right now it's challenging because that's been real. What's when something escapes you? You know, basically it's more like 750 to 900 and something. You know, and that's me. That's on me though, because it totally could be, you know, 1.2, something like that, pretty easily, if I was a better leader and I was a better business person. But my heart and my soul is in the training. So I spend way too much time training. This year I've cut down to where I train from 6 to 1. And I pretty much keep it like that. I mean, I'm going back to the gym now, but that's rare when I would go back. So now I tend to work on my next act, so to speak, you know, after 1. So,
so sounds like you do have a methodology for getting through tough times. And
yeah.
Right now, we're all going through tough times. You know, I work for a big gym, and we've downsized quite a bit. So tell me some of your strategies right now for number 1, financially coping with this COVID, and number 2, keeping your clients engaged.
So one thing about the clients, you got to keep it 100 in the training. So you got to get people stronger. And you have to, as people age, you have to know what to mobilize and what to stabilize. So you can't have people just building muscle on top of muscle and can't move their bodies. The ankle has to have certain mobility. The hips have to have certain 3D mobility and a brain. The thoracic spine. You have to know, as people age, what gets stuck. As people age, what needs to be stronger. Everybody needs a stronger booty. Everybody needs a stronger ass. People, they focus on the core, but the core ain't nothing without a booty. So through experience, through the books, through the mechanics, through the teaching, one thing that's cool about taking a whole lot of certifications and paying all that money, buying a whole lot of books, buying a whole lot of courses, not finishing the courses, not finishing the certs. I got way more certs that I have not finished than the ones I got. And the cool thing about it is methods are many, principles are few. Methods always change. Principles never do. Principles is the truth. Methods are just minute little concepts to help you manage the truth and put the truth on the street and get your street credibility. But the principles, the strong man, the strongest of the strong that can breathe and walk and has function, they do that stuff with principles. Now they may do it with some other enhancements, but at the end of the day, they do it through hard work that's based on the truth that's 100 years ago and 100 years from now. It's the same thing in function. You can't try to make somebody more functional and not get them stronger. The thing about function, though, is what are the unique idiosyncrasies from a physical perspective about this individual to help them de-age their body and be younger, a younger version of themselves. So that means strength, that means flexibility, that means joint health, that means body awareness, that means coordination. And then what are the unique mixes of those concepts to that individual that you can bring with fun and with respect and engagement and enhancement and empowerment. And then you're going to have a long-term relationship.
You know, just listening to you talk, I'm getting all excited because it clearly, you kind of set the stage for people to be successful from day one. It almost sounds like you give them a concept that this is where you're starting and your life and your body is going to change just as our business is going to change, and we're going to be with you every step of that way. So that's great.
Totally.
And you know what else is fun listening to you? And if you ever get a chance to, maybe you don't have time to write stuff out, but you have the best nuggets ever. I'm looking at the chats, and people are like quoting you like left and right.
No, I'm a mess. I don't do no. I appreciate that. I read. I study. I don't do any social media. I don't talk to nobody outside the gym unless you're at a bar, the restaurant I go to every day, the one or two, depending on this COVID stuff. Now I just go to this one. But at the end of the day, you got people that they focus on leisure, lounging, and lazy.
All right.
Leisure, lounge, and lazy. See, and they think that leisure, lounging, and lazy is some cool stuff. But in my book, you got to earn leisure, lounging, and lazy. And if you have not earned the wicked 3 L's, then it's poison. If you earned it, then it becomes rest, recuperation, recovery. There's a difference. You earn rest, recuperation, recovery through work and through struggle. And what I tell my babies, son, the struggle is real good for you if you get through it and you earn it. And on the other side of struggle is development and awareness. Then you have to do it again. You got to struggle again.
So growth, continuous growth. That sounds like really the best nugget you can give. So I have another question for you, and it's probably close to the last question. But if you can think of one thing, what has been the most difficult decision that you've had to make in order to make Phenomenal Fitness your success and your passion?
Get rid of the building that we call Phenomenal Fitness. Early on, I had entrepreneur clients who I adored. I love them to this day. And their thing was to really create wealth as an entrepreneur, you got to own the land that you build your businesses in. Oh. And so a couple of people put that in my head. I love them to this day. And that's why we did the deal to buy 1450, $1.4 million deal, and have the gym, we owned the building the gym was in. Well, that was all fine and dandy. We did enough revenue to accomplish that. The challenge was, because I wasn't really a business person per se, I was a trainer first, business second. I felt that the key to keeping the dream alive of the building was for me to train my butt off. And instead, that's fine when things are good and clients are coming in all over the place. At the time they were. But at the recession of 08, that stuff went down, down, down. So now we got a $15,000 mortgage. That don't count the taxes. That don't count the expenses for the building. That's just the real estate, right? And now I got all these young trainers who weren't, they didn't have my, I'm a what you call I'm a rainmaker. I can bring people in and I can keep people. I'm blessed like that. I'm 57. I've been around, and I've made a lot of mistakes. And through the mistakes, I've learned to prepare with my purpose and my passion and my persistence and my practice. So when I hit the street, when I hit the floor, I can command the floor. So it's not far-fetched for me to have good retention. But through challenging times when people say, you know what, I can do this training thing on my own. See, the thing about training is you can't stay stagnant to where the people in your tribe can figure out a whole bunch of stuff without you. In my book, I'm not developing myself enough. If I have not really reached my potential and my ceiling, then I got work to do. And so for different reasons, that work gets stymied. But at the end of the day, it's really simple things: squat, deadlift, pull up, push up. But how do you implement those techniques for the masses to keep them into it? So then there's other little things. What about the joint mobility? What about the sticking shoulder? What about the unstable scapula? What about the weird hip asymmetry, stuff like that? So then you get into intricacies that really can separate you and keep people in, because you're bringing a flavor and an attitude and an energy that they want to kick it with on an extended basis.
So you've got your training philosophies going, and tell me though, did you keep the building or did you sell the building?
No,
I moved.
I got my ass kicked. See, that's the deal. That's the deal. I had to pivot. So I sold the building in foreclosure.
Okay.
We bought the building for $650. We put a bunch of money on it. The deal was 1.4. I sold it for $750.
Okay.
So then I was the tenant and didn't skip a beat. Nobody knew about it. The clients didn't know. Trainers barely knew. I told them in a meeting. Kept my mouth shut. So it went from Sean and Maria owning the building to Sean and Maria selling it in a flash sale to keep it out of foreclosure.
Wow.
And then meet the Chans, Asian family, beautiful, wonderful family. I'm still tight with to this day. They took it over. They trying to sell it now. It's a Harold's Chicken on the first floor. So I pivoted. I needed about 75 G's to get the spot we got now, which is the best gym I ever had. It's 5,000 square feet. It's the smallest, but it's all grass, as one of my babies says. It's carpet. The turf.
Yes.
It's
yes.
almost 4,000 square feet of turf, and it's just well spaced out. I got some amazing people there, and we try to treat people like you really want to kick it with us, because we really want to kick it with you, and I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you.
That's wonderful. Sean, I swear I could talk to you for a very long time, and we've got some really great questions, and I know that a whole bunch of folks are going to connect with you after they see your this webinar. So any final things that you want to say before we shut down?
I think it's super important that you be real truthful with yourself as an individual, and you decide that transformation is not for people in their 20s and 30s. You can be in your 50s, your 40s and 50s, and really push, and 60s.
Thank
you don't look nothing like it, Aida. Nothing like it at all. And still be fabulous and wonderful and somebody people want to be around, and not some old news, because we continue to grow within ourselves, and that transforms or is reflected on the outside of ourselves. And you definitely have that, Aida. You definitely have it. And those that we flock towards or we gravitate towards, they get the fact that God, our creator, you made me supposedly in your image, right? I'm in your image. So if I'm in your image, I need to be special for a long time. And that takes work. That takes work.
All righty. Well, thank you, Sean. And Liz is back with us.
Liz, what's up?
What's up, Sean? Thank you so much. You definitely motivated me to get that workout in today. I have to watch motivational videos, but this is all I needed today. So I really appreciate that. Aida, thank you so much for facilitating this conversation and for introducing our community to Sean as a veteran entrepreneur to inspire others. Shelby did drop Sean's contact information into the chat, so I encourage you to check that out. If you miss it, or if you're watching this at a later time on Facebook, then you can email us at townhall@bunkerlabs.org, and we'll send you his contact information. He has assured us that if you ask questions and if you have something to bring to him, he is happy to answer you when he has a chance. So Sean, Aida, thank you both just for being here and sharing your knowledge.
My pleasure, Liz. Aida, thank you, babe.
Oh, you're welcome, Sean. Looking forward to more. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.